Storms welcoming us into this Wednesday night action in the USL Championship. New York Red Bulls 2 heading on down I-95 to face off with Philadelphia Union 2 squad. This match presented by Sun East Federal Credit Union. And here in Subaru Park, a little soaked. As we bring you the action, I'm Chris Bukovic, alongside me, two-time MLS Coach of the Year, Thomas Rongen.
Chris, I'm a Dutchman, so I like rain, and players do normally as well. The ball runs faster. It's better in combination play. Both teams like to possess the ball and circulate it, so I think it's an advantage for all the fans watching this game. For
Union 2, they're hoping Rayan will be out there circulating the ball back from a broken nose that kept him out last week.
Yeah, I mean, in that new system, the 4-2-2-2 as well, by the Union, it's very important that fullbacks give width. And width means not just in the middle third, but the attacking third as well, a la Barcelona with Alba, for instance. So very important that Ryan gets up the field, gets some crosses in, and also understands his defensive responsibilities.
He'll be a fullback on the attack here today in the action. On the other side, Kyle Zayat, really a creator for New York Red Bulls 2, 4 goals last season.
Yeah, Zayat is the creative hub in midfield right there. He's very smooth on the ball. He's a creative force. He's very good at free kicks as well. Numbers last year, 4 goals, 3 assists. That's important as well. He's got to pull the strings, but also needs to get this team on the board, which they haven't done.
A brace against Union 2 last year, as well as we prepare to take a look at our keys to the game for tonight's action, and that is presented by Sun East Federal Credit Union.
Yeah, for Philly, it's very important that they press organized. Last week, they fell apart, 6-0, obviously. So it needs to be better. Who initiates? Who joins in? Where do we force the opponent? That's very important. And can we win the ball back as quickly as possible? There's a 5-second rule. After 5 seconds, we drop and get organized. Initially, we go together.
New York Red Bulls 2, the other side. Really, the finishing out there. 20 shots against Hartford, no goals to show for it, and two teams just trying to get 3 points at this point in Group F. So coming up next on ESPN+, two sides trying to take advantage of this opportunity in Group F. It's an I-95 rivalry here in the USL Championship. Lineups and kick coming up.
Acme is bringing the fresh every day. Crispy, juicy, delicious. We're cutting fresh, so you don't have to. Slicing fresh in store. Icing, baking, and flower bouquet making. This is how we do fresh. Come and get it. Acme, the official supermarket of the Philadelphia Union.
The summer of 2020 will be unusual and historic. Let us write the story together, enjoying the weather while staying safe. Wear a mask when you're outside. Keep up social distancing as we keep up our spirits. The usual destinations may not be open or may have restrictions. Conditions may change, so check websites as the summer goes on. Let us make history by enjoying the sunshine and together beating COVID-19.
Welcome back here into Subaru Park, and this match presented by Sun East Federal Credit Union, the United Soccer League, all 35 championship clubs and its players stand together in support of diversity, inclusivity, equality, and compassion. And Thomas, our starting 11 here for Union 2.
Yeah, Union 2 playing out of a 4-2-2-2 under their new head coach this year, mirroring what that first team does as well. And we talked about some of the players that really need to step up. Ryan on that left side, attacking force, obviously. Zinga and Misic up front need to pull the strings and get some goals for this team.
On the other side for New York Red Bulls, some familiar faces, the same 18 as we saw against Hartford.
Yeah, and we talked about Kyle Zajic already before the game, the creative hub in midfield. But Bala, basically a trialist on the right side as their fullback. They expect some real good things from Corvin Elney up front, are responsible for scoring the goals. Boateng and Lapsey, his first start in goal. Boateng, the great center back for this Red Bull team that needs to keep it all together.
Boateng and Lapsley actually going to the same university at UC Davis. Know each other from there. Again, the United Soccer League and all 35 championship clubs and its players stand together in support of diversity, inclusivity, equality, and compassion. Please join us for a 15-second moment of silence as we are all united against racism. USL Championship offering a great platform for the players and the current issues across the country, bring them to light. And that's something you see across all sports now in this day and age.
Yeah, you certainly see it throughout the world, and it's a welcoming side as well that we see people across the pond take part in this very important endeavor.
Now Philadelphia Union 2 and New York Red Bulls 2 getting set to take the field. Both sides only seeing 2 matches so far here in 2020, and both sides yet to get a victory. Misic over the ball in the middle of the field. He's making his first start this season for Union 2. For the then Bethlehem Steel last year, started the final 2 matches, and he'll kick it off. We're underway from Subaru Park, a bit wet, but here to bring you Wednesday night action, the USL Championship. Again, I'm Chris McCovic, alongside me, 2-time MLS Coach of the Year, Thomas Rongen, as these 2 sides battle in Group F, trying to find a win and get up in the points column, especially after Pittsburgh going down in the 97th minute to Indy 11 just moments ago.
Yeah, 2 contrasting styles here. The Union with their new coach, Sven Gartun from Scandinavia, who's been all over the world and a great developer of talent. He's brought in by his organization to push, which is the role of both coaches actually, and the role of any 2 team within your structure. You know, with the academy director in Toronto, the emphasis was on our oldest team to bring as many players through the first team as possible. That leads sometimes to not great performances, and both teams showing youth obviously on their side, and we see some college picks as well in this mix.
And the funny thing is those college picks are actually the veterans on the field, 23, 24 years old, as we saw already. Mitchell Butler, the goalkeeper for Union 2, at 17 years old, and we'll see that age range quite a bit throughout the course of this match. Ball over the top and down the other way. You mentioned Sven Gartun, the Union 2 head coach. The head coach on the other side, unfortunately not able to be with New York Red Bulls 2 for the match. John Wolenak, unfortunately getting an initial positive test for COVID-19, while subsequent testing has come back negative. Wolenak will forego travel out of an abundance of caution while waiting an additional follow-up test. Most importantly, he is feeling well and not exhibiting any symptoms. And that was a statement from the New York Red Bulls organization. So unfortunate to see, but luckily he is doing well, as his interim taking over for this match will be Ibrahim Sakaya, who actually played with the New York Red Bulls in 2013 and 2014. Shot taken and into the side netting for Sebastian Elney, the native out of Boca Raton, Florida.
Boca Raton, Florida has produced some players, actually. Josie Altador being one of them, actually, that played in South Florida.
They both ended up in the north as well. Yep. Altador in Toronto, Elney here in New York. And you were talking about in the open a bit, Thomas, how the wet conditions could affect things. Already we're seeing a lot of back and forth play, slipping and sliding, not able to really establish much.
Balls like this are tough balls for defenders to deal with. For the main reason is that the ball just gets away from you a little bit, which is an advantage for a fast forward. And again, you can see Philly right now applying the pressure, going a little bit more direct, and forcing the Red Bulls to have to defend that stretches. In particular because Philly didn't do a good job, the Union didn't do a good job in that last game, giving up 6 and trying to be more organized, you can see right now.
Zayats, the captain, whips it in, falls through, maybe a few touches along the way. A player down for Union 2, slow to get up. Back in, it's whipped. Somehow that stays in, and now finally headed out.
Good. One of the great things about this, Chris, is you can hear players actually talk. And Butler, the goalkeeper, giving instructions right now. Head that away, step as well. Interesting. The game has become pure to me as a real emerged guy. I miss the fans, but it's nice to hear coaching instructions and player communication.
Follow with the throw into the box. Headed back down. Congested mess there for the Union 2 squad, but able to clear. Through ball and a slip there on the miss. And here comes Shintu down the left side.
Shintu, one of the older players, 23-year-old German. Very good, tall, lanky guy with good skill set.
Scored once in 10 appearances last year as Ofemu takes it on. Native of Michigan.
I'd like to see if they can find Ryan on this side right here, where you can see him, the number 40, tidying the ball, expected to go forward out of that midfield, out of that defensive position.
Kingay, Cameroonian, passing it ahead. Nice touch to stay with it. Harriel puts it in and gets the deflection out of play, and he actually going to become a Philadelphia Union player in 2021, but he'll remain with Union 2 for the rest of 2020.
A great start to this game already. Up and down, again, the field makes the pace a little bit higher. It's a matter of who can now control the pace of the game and dictate the tempo. Both teams with corners and set pieces, long throws as well in the box, so there'll be some real great duels.
McGlynn at 17 years old, making his first start. Through there, dangerous one right over the target, and a goal kick for Lapsley to come.
Yeah, Boateng, the captain of this team, coming forward on set pieces. Sorry, this Ofemu and Huckabee, the 2 center backs for the Union 2. On set pieces, will get in the box, and with good service, they should be able to connect on some of those balls.
Very dangerous one whipped in by McGlynn, as Red Bulls 2 look to get on the attack. Kingay up in the midfield. And a free kick is won. He was at that defensive midfield slot against Pittsburgh. A loss to Pittsburgh that is one Artoon will not finally remember. As he said to us, it's our job to develop the young talent in the organization, but he said there were mistakes that he says aren't acceptable at any age in that match. Stop again by Ofemu, and back over to Butler.
Yeah, Ofemu and Huckabee have done such a great job staying tidy as 2 center backs, playing at long stretches, Chris, 1 versus 1 against, 2 of the best in the business, and that will be some duress. It's important that Ryan and Hariel squeeze a little bit and help those two center backs so they don't get stretched.
Right in the mishap there. Second time he's lost possession, getting used to the game. First time back in action since the stoppage for the pandemic. Famo has to work with this one. And already you're seeing, because of the formation and the pressing at the top for Union 2, these two center backs for the Union have to deal with 1v1 battles. Right in there battling at the end line. He'll win it back. And it goes out of play.
Great defensive posture right there by Issa Ryan. Shielding the ball, trying to play through pressure and not losing possession. That was key. And then forcing the attacker into a position where they end up with a goal kick. That's positive.
Looking at this Union 2 back line, do you think it affects a lot of communication, chemistry, having a third new starting goalkeeper in 3 matches?
Yes, it certainly is. There's no doubt about it. I mean, we talk about expansion teams in MLS. Inter Miami is an example, 0-5 right now. And if you get players that go up and down, or you get injuries, or you get a tournament, as in the MLS comeback tournament, where you play a lot of amount of games, it's not easy to find an 11 that consistently can play together, because chemistry, yes, Chris, is very important. Not just within the 11, but as center backs, a left back with a left midfielder, knowing each other's traits and strengths and weaknesses, and that's what coaches are trying to figure out on the fly as well. And eventually, the only select few will make it to the first team.
Good opportunity here for Red Bulls 2. Putting inside, shot deflected and in an early strike for the roadside. As coming up is Korf, getting his first goal for the Red Bulls 2, and they lead 1-0.
Yeah, Korf and only have been just a handful. We just talked about those two front runners putting pressure and the rest on that back four, and saying that there's good numbers behind the ball. You got to make sure that you can shot block in those situations. So the 1v1 individual defending right there and not doubling quick enough allows, as you said again, Korf to get a shot off that ricochets a little bit and leaves Butler stranded. 1-0 for Philly. Not the start, obviously, that head coach Sven Gartun expected from his team.
And it's just down the road in Ocean City, New Jersey, with the Ocean City Nor'easters in USL League 2, that Korf was the league MVP, scoring 14 goals, 3 assists, and now scoring for Red Bulls 2. Harriel will get helped up by his teammate.
That's just a late slide, late tackle there. Harriel very quick reading that situation as the right fullback stepping into midfield, trying to regain possession and start the attack.
McGlynn, through ball down the right side. This will be curtailed well by Boateng, and it's goal kick to Lapsley.
Yeah, well shepherded out by Boateng. We call that body between ball and player, and shepherd that one out of bounds.
Quite the pedigree between those two at UC Davis in college. Boateng, a 2-time Big West Defensive Player of the Year. And Lapsley, the 2019 Goalkeeper of the Year. This will come back. Red Bulls 2 looking at a free kick. Zayats. Kilwine tried the ball ahead, but it's deflected out. He'll stay on this end.
Again, Ariel reading that passing lane very well, stepping into midfield, just can't connect to keep possession. But his instincts as a right fullback are very, very good.
Clark stepping up, brought down from behind, and a foul is called. Kinge, the culprit.
Yeah, both Clark and Zajic really creating problems in midfield. And King and Flores right now really a little bit lost in that system, that 4-2-2-2 with two holders. And sometimes there's confusion. Who's the true holder? Who needs to step there? And as you said, Chris, Clark gets away from somebody. Now it's a matter of, do we allow a shot or do we foul and deal with the set piece, which they're doing right now.
So now Butler in trouble, trying to avoid giving up a second one here, setting up his wall.
It looks like Clark is around that ball. Was brought down and says, you know what, I want a piece of this. Wall of four, protecting the near post. Goalkeeper should protect the far post. Everybody mark up 1 versus 1. Attack first, then second balls.
Shot comes and well wide. Goal kick for Union 2 unscathed.
Yeah, we've seen so many, and in particular Lionel Messi being so good. Can you go over the wall? Can you go underneath the wall? Can you go around the wall? So there's many options. But the wall's function, those 4 players, is to be brave, to protect that near post, to elevate a little bit to make yourself smaller, and then you force free kick tickers into situations they're not comfortable with. Tries to go hard far post, misses by a mile. Good defending, good structure.
Again, welcome here into Subaru Park. Philadelphia Union 2 and New York Red Bulls 2 battling in Group F of the USL Championship. I'm Chris Pivic, alongside me, 2-time MLS Coach of the Year, Thomas Rongin. Had a bit of a delay, to say the least, about an hour, keeping us away from the pitch, but off and running here 14 minutes in. And Korf with the early strike for Red Bulls 2. Now Union 2 on the attack. Stopped in their tracks. Rain will try to regroup. Harriel stepping all the way up in the central midfield. Harriel again whips it, but wide, and maybe a bit high as well. Goal kick.
Yeah, I think that Sven Gartun, the new head coach of this team, is very happy with that. You get Isa Ryan on that left side going forward. When he stays, it gives Ariel the opportunity to create a 3v2 or a 2v2 and even get a shot off close to the 18-yard box. Good hard runs off his shoulder, freezes that back four, allows him just an opening to get his head up and say, you know what, I can go from distance here. The theme, though, for both teams is that they haven't been able to pull the trigger at ease this year.
Here comes Union 2. Shot comes, blocked away. Ariel able to get back to it.
Yeah, just great athletic ability, willingness, and there's the press. There's the press that Sven Gartun has talked about. Can they force a mistake? And yes, they do. That's much better. You lose possession, nearest player goes, second player goes as well. Make play predictable, which means the sideline is your friend, so force them that way. There's also easier to read if they play a long ball for your 2 center backs. Last week's game, they got stretched so much, they allowed teams to play vertical and also switch the point of attack, and that's how they really got murdered in that 6-0 defeat. So yes, you're down 1-0, but you look at the first 15 minutes and you're probably a little happier.
Down 2-0 at the break against Pittsburgh, and then the Riverhounds really lit up the scoreboard in the second half, and Gartun talked about having that individual effect on the pressing, not working cohesively, can really undo you and your stamina in the second half, and that's kind of what happened as this bender has to be saved, grabbed onto by Lapsley, moving to his left. Picasso with the early strike.
Yeah, and we haven't talked about it. When we talked about the opposing team, obviously, in Zajic, having that creative hub, it's so important for Picasso and Flores both to be involved in midfield, pulling the strings for the Philly team.
Lacava wins it back briefly. Bentong down the right flank, a good look here. Lacava back on it. Low one sent in, still dangerous, but Flores is there to pick it up at the top of the box. This works out of play in favor of Red Bulls 2.
Good defensive posture there by Philly on this occasion. Ryan steps in the midfield. Huckabee slides over a little bit. Flores takes his position. That's important if you play with 2 number 6s, which you do right now. Allowing your fullbacks to go forward. So it's important that there's two holding midfielders understand timing and space and where they need to drop in order to help defensively.
Deflected away. Shin-2 onto it. Now Flores. Shin-2 on the run, but it's back to Lapsley.
Yeah, Lapsley, the goalkeeper, is taking his time right now, distributing from their hands. Most teams in MLS, the 2 teams, so to speak, so Union 2 and the Red Bull 2, they emphasize playing out of the back, having goalkeepers that are comfortable with their feet. Sacrificing results, for development. You know, that's the hard one when I was the academy coach, because you don't want to lose every game either. Teaching how to win is important too.
Picasso couldn't get there in time. It's out of play as Union 2 continue the attack. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. The Select ball staying with Union 2 for now. Heavy challenge, but we play on. Christian Centeno, the referee for this match. As Lapsley will pick this up. Active first 19 minutes for Lapsley, but nothing too dangerous for him to deal with.
You talked about Issa Ryan already wearing with that nose guard. I've played with that. I'm telling you, after a while, when you start sweating and some humidity, it's not very comfortable to do that. And some players are not happy to go in 50-50s again. I haven't seen anything on Issa Ryan that leads me to believe that he is bothered by his injury.
Picasso through ball, offsides flag up the entire time as Mischic gets caught there.
Yeah, if he can just read that a little bit better, which means like run flat, we called it, and then cut for the diagonal. A lot of forwards get very eager to want to go to goal. And sometimes the runs predicate the pass, Chris, and sometimes the pass that predicates the run. In this particular time, Mischic should have held his run and let the pass lead him.
Red Bulls 2 back in control. These 2 teams, part of a 5-team group here in the USL Championships 2020 format. And the top 2 teams in the group will advance to the quarterfinals to come in the Eastern Conference groups. Right now it's Pittsburgh at the top, along with Hartford, both at 6 points, and then a big gap before you find Loudoun, Philadelphia, and New York. All without a win so far in 2020.
And if you talk about must-wins and staying in this race, so to speak, it's important today to get a W. And I'm telling you, these 2 teams don't like each other. I've played both of them as a coach when I was at DC United in New England, and I know what this rivalry has become over the years. Old or young, doesn't matter.
Shin-2 battling in there. There was no whistle despite that pause. And it's out for a throw-in and Union 2 in the final third.
Well, although this is not really an organized press, but that's the way to apply yourselves. Well done, Shin-2. First one goes, forcing mistakes, and a long throw could become a set piece.
Ariel sends it in on the throw-in. Doesn't find his man, though, and it's going to be cleared downfield. Both matches between the teams last year lit up the scoreboard. A 4-0 victory for New York, and then the other one a 4-3 victory for New York in this very park. That included a 3-goal comeback. This ball falls through. On we play. Deflected and out. Corner kick to the Red Bulls.
Yeah, that's much better by Ariel, who was involved in that first goal by not stepping and block shotting enough. This time he gets tighter, doesn't bite on the forward. And that's all you can do in the 18-yard box. Prevent the cross, prevent the shot, and let it go out for a corner. We reorganize from there.
Look at interim coach for this match, Sakaya, Ugandan international, 35 appearances, and played for 6 years for Red Bull Salzburg. Back post, out of play. Nothing comes of that. There will be a foul actually in the middle of that bunch of players.
Yeah, you get that real battle going on between Boateng and Huckabee. Fala's in there as well. Flores, big boys. We see more and more in the world now that set pieces could make huge differences in games. Be it corners, be it free kicks. And an interesting trend too is substitutes. With the 5 substitute, the new rule that FIFA implemented, also for next year, by the way, alters the game drastically. We've seen a lot of goals late in games.
Back with Red Bulls 2. Counterattack has been reeling for them, and out of play it goes, and back to a goal kick. As a former manager, how much does that change going from 3 to 5 as you evaluate things throughout a match?
Well, I mean, it does. And it's all about what are your priorities. We're talking about Pittsburgh, Philly, Louisville. They want to win games. So they make changes based on the score line, based on we need a defender, an attacker, we need to chase the game. I think these teams where development is still more important. It's also about maybe giving a real young player 20 minutes in a game to get a taste of something, regardless what the score is. But I think that in this particular game, that both coaches are going to play to win and make the substitution right to put their teams in a position to get the 3 points that they desperately need.
Playing a good touch there, but couldn't get the give and go to work, and it's back over to Red Bulls 2. Red Bulls trying to draw out this Union press.
And Chris, you talked about the press. You know, I think that although you've given up that early goal, which is not good, but Sven Gartun will be happy through 25 minutes now of how his team has pressed, particular in the central of the park with their 2 6s and their 2 10s, as he calls them. Again, good press, counter press.
Nice ball over the top. Spur on the counter attack. This stays in.
And if you break the line of the press, you don't want to get hurt centrally. So any ball out wide, you can recover again, as you can see right now, and get good numbers behind the ball and reorganize yourselves again, which didn't happen in the last game, according to their coach.
Back over to Fala. Boateng up the right flank. Finding an opening, now Clark. Deflected up, and luckily over the crossbar. It's a corner kick once again.
Yeah, again, the weak-sided defender is so important. Hariel does a good job, again, preventing anything going to goal. The 1v1 matchups right now, that's the struggle for the Union. Ziyech, Edelman, Clark have been very good in midfield by breaking pressure off the dribble. We talked about the guy that talked about, you know, the free kick guy.
They'll reset this, and a talking to as well.
Yeah, so much happens off the ball, Chris, and they're trying to curb that over the years. I mean, it used to be, when I played, there used to be wrestling match. I would put arms around my opponent and hold on to him as long as the referee and the linesman wouldn't see it. But now with VAR and all the other technology, this is going to be called. I've seen penalties called now that I normally never seen when I played at the highest level.
Zayed's back over the ball for the corner kick. Brought down, and a good volleyed clearance in the end by Shintu, the forward.
mean, Liverpool's got a throwing coach. Liverpool's taken the NBA by setting picks on set pieces as well to open up stuff for other players. Very interesting how other sports, particularly American sports, non-soccer sports, have seeped into soccer, in particular in set pieces.
McGlynn. Picasso on the run, but the ball a bit too long and it rolls out of play. Don't miss a minute of action in 2020. Sign up today and get alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for Philadelphia Union 2 or New York Red Bulls 2, and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Let's get reminders on your team. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. Throwing up the field for Red Bulls 2, playoff squad in 2019, losing to Indy 11 in the opening round. Just 1-0 out in Indiana.
And scoring goals never a problem for this team through their history. Always made the playoffs. There you see coaches very involved today. You can hear them, you can see them as well there, part of your screen. The Union coach. And we've seen Sakaya doing the same thing, very animated, pointing. And one of the great things is when you play without a crowd, it becomes easier to reach your players, obviously. Although ultimately you want your players to make those decisions and communicate the way you're communicating to them. So it's all part of teaching young players to become good pros and hopefully important players of the first team.
Back out. This will actually go the opposite way against Red Bulls 2. Rea will have the throw in. Union 2 back in business here in the 30th minute.
You can hear lock him in, lock him in, lock him in. That comes from the midfield. That's normally a holding midfield or a center back that can tell the players in front of him to step, push, push. Look at that. Everybody just marked up right now, forcing to win the first or second ball.
Pressure from Red Bulls 2 working out, but Flores getting the stop. Ariel running after it. Ball is there. And Ofemu will guide it out of play. Back to Budner. Native of Lincoln, Nebraska. Third keeper to start here in 2020. Matt Freese was the starter in game 1 against Loudoun way back when in early March. He's down with the Philadelphia Union squad in Orlando. And Martino getting the start against Pittsburgh, which weirdly enough was where he did his academy soccer for 6 years before joining the Philadelphia Union Academy last year. And then the Riverhounds, fortunately for him, putting 6 goals in on his debut. He had some excellent saves early on. Boateng getting all of that one out of play, and we will have our first hydration break of the action. There wasn't enough rain already soaked into everyone on the field. They're already 1-0 here at Subaru Park, courtesy of Korf, who's from the United Kingdom, but playing his collegiate soccer in the United States, along with his USL League 2 play. Here it is again.
Yeah, Jake LaCava finds Derry Korf, cuts inside. Harris just bites a little bit there, not quick closing down, and it leaves the goalkeeper stranded. Korf with just a great cut inside, good strike at goal, takes a deflection, and it puts Red Bull 2 up 1-0.
For Korf coming to the United States for his college soccer at the University of Rio Grande, and also 2 other years at Wright State. Actually spent 6 years in the Manchester City Academy.
Interesting.
Growing up in Chester.
these are great opportunities now throughout the world for coaches to get another 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes with their teams. You know, you have a pregame, halftime, and post. Now all of a sudden you got something halfway through the first and second half. Huge advantage for the great tactical coaches who can do some in-game management, so to speak, and alter something within their 11 on the field right now based on what they've seen. So I've seen certain teams really changing the corner after this, I call it tactical water break, to make the appropriate changes to get their teams either back in the game or to double up on the lead.
Is there anything you would point out to either side during this hydration break?
Yeah. At this particular time, I think that the Union have become too predictable in their build-up, expecting their fullbacks, as I said again, to provide width right now. I think it's important, if you look at this lineup right now, that you need to get Picasso and McLean a little bit more out wide and drifting in wider areas to stretch that midfield four of the Red Bulls. And the Red Bulls, you know what? Keep going somewhat direct and force those two center backs in these tough 1v1 situations against two speedsters.
Shintu got the interception there to get the possession back over to Union 2 now. Rayan trying to keep that attack going. The pressure already for Red Bulls.
And that's what I'm talking about, Chris. If that's right, your left fullback needs to provide you width. So anytime he comes inside and he looks up, the only options are centrally right now. There's no wide players, so it becomes very easy for the Rugbyals to just collapse, say centrally, and let them play into your numbers and then win first or second balls.
Yeah, and Yuri pointed out they're winning those midfield battles, so congestion only going to help it out there.
Absolutely.
Flores. Oh, something opening up maybe for Union 2 here. Kinge up ahead, but a misstep. Picasso now loops it in there, but not nearly enough. But all that wide open space on the right wing, unable to use it. Now Red Bulls back on the counterattack. That's been their specialty so far tonight. Now in the 35th minute, the goal scorer, Korf, gets it back over from Elney. Korf cuts it over off balance, but nearly hitting the mark. It's a goal kick.
You can tell that Korf is very, very comfortable in that particular area there. He likes to drift out there. He's a big body with pace, but very good skill set as well. That's almost similar to where he was when he scored the goal. He always cuts inside. That's another thing as well. Players, force him onto his weak left foot. Don't let him come inside. And if you can't double, then don't let him get a shot off. And Korf is saying, you know what, if they allow me to do that, I will drift always towards that part of the 80-yard box. Till the Union says, you know what, you're going to take us on wide on your weak left foot. Again, learning as a right fullback, going along and understanding skill sets of opponents and figuring out how to defend better or attack somebody better.
Shintu trying to combine with McGlynn, but it was intercepted once more. Korf. Elney couldn't get there. Stays alive. A deflection by Ofemu helping out.
Yeah, that Red Bull is so much better in first and second balls in midfield, which allows you to keep possession as they're doing right now. Union has to maintain some semblance of understanding and possession. Good interplay.
Clark, top of the box, nearly losing it. Finally does as Flores takes it on. Back to the right side. Buntong losing it over to Rayan. This shit shoved off the ball. Foul called, and it's back to Union 2 in the 37th.
Yeah, Red Bull's really hunting for that second goal. Zajic involved, Edelman, Clark we talked about, Korf. Just seems that the Red Bulls are a little bit more aligned and on the same page than the Union is, but understandably again with the changes within that 11 from the first two games. Some players for both teams are in the bubble with the first team and can't come back obviously to help their teams. So it's always a puzzle for those head coaches.
Buntong getting set for the throw-in. Elney trying to get the touch for a corner kick. Instead, it's clear back the other way. Lishich keeping it alive, flicked over the top. Flag stays down, attack continues. Flores, shin two, but pass a little bit leading to Boateng, and he's able to make the clearance.
Yeah, much better. The willingness of a midfielder, Flores in this particular time, to get places without the ball, to stretch a back four as well from deep is so important. But can then things open up and you can play maybe underneath? The static lack of movement for the Union right now is tough.
Picasso goes down in the box, waved off, and it's a corner kick as Boateng made the touch. We'll have to take another look at this.
It's a 50-50, it's a hard tackle. Great splitting there of two defenders, and yeah, there's some contact there, but I think the referee's right on top of it, acknowledges that it's a corner kick, and doesn't give a penalty.
Now an opportunity for Union 2, still in search of their first goal of 2020. Rebels found theirs earlier from Korf. Looked in, near side, headed away. It was Elney getting on it. McGlynn. Through ball, nice look here. Mischich there, but so is the offsides flag. Great opportunity for Union 2 is quelled.
Yeah, they capitalized well on a turnover in midfield by pressing. Again, more organized upfield that allows you then to get behind that back four in transition. Just again, they run a little bit too eager. Two offsides right now that could have been prevented.
The USL Championship looks toward August with one final nationally televised match in July. An early contest for Group E supremacy takes center stage as St. Louis FC and Indy 11 look to create early separation from the rest of the group. St. Louis FC and Indy 11, Sunday, July 26th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN Deportes. Indy seeing Pittsburgh from Group F today, getting that 97th minute tally, the winner from Pasher. And Pittsburgh from Group F, they've seen quite the competition in their non-group matches. They took down Louisville in the opener, 3-1 at Lynn Family Stadium. Unfortunately falling to Indy, which is actually a good thing for the two teams in front of us today, as only 2 of the 5 teams will advance from Group F. And right now, Pittsburgh a 5-point lead along with Hartford on the other 3 teams, with New York currently at no points. Zayats heading over to take care of possession. 41st minute as we tick towards halftime here from Subaru Park. Conditions improving as the match has gone on. After some really heavy thunderstorms moved through the area at about 6:30 and continued, pushing us to 8:30. Whipped in, headed away by Kinge, getting all the way up. And out for a throw-in.
A spectacular individual heading capacity right there. 1v1, staying with your runner. Go where it hurts as well, and then winning that 50-50 battle. So important. One of the great traits of center backs obviously is winning your battles, is keeping your number 9 of the score sheet. It's a job well done if you can do that.
Fall up, looking maybe for a long throw when he gets it into the box. Hit up by Harriel. Ofemu. And back with Red Bulls.
And you see that more and more, Chris. Throw-ins are being used as set pieces now. think that coaches, data-driven, younger coach, understand that a long throw is similar to a corner kick, and that your percentage of scoring goals versus maybe trying to maintain possession in the corner is higher. That's why Liverpool hired a throw-in coach to take advantage of those situations. Most clubs still up to, let's see if we can maintain possession and spray the ball around a little bit.
Huckabee forcing the ball out of play. The Red Bulls have been a bit camped out here on the Union end. Another corner kick yet again for the Red Bulls. It's going to be their 4th so far.
Yeah, Clark and Corf continue to be very good in 1v1 situations, either drawing fouls. Ziyech again back to that corner, taking that one, and telling you, anybody with good service and aggressive runs puts teams under major duress.
Ziyech, great header on and saved. It looked like from the header. And that was...
Yeah, Ziyech just floats that one in. It's an outswinger with that right foot, so it goes away from the goalkeeper, and it is a better ball to attack for a forward or a midfielder or a defender for that matter. Great connection. Harriel saved it off the line.
Headed back down, another good look. Butner was there diving for the save, but Harriel was right where the ball was headed and literally headed it out of play and out of danger, as once again the Red Bulls on the attack. Another look here.
Yeah, it's the 2nd time now. They've found, obviously, and that's Harriel, the right fullback, who's saving that one off the line. But great ball in, as I said again, by Kyle Ziyech, who's so good at free kicks. And allowing Boateng or Kilwini actually to get on top of that one. Twice they've gone far post. Here's the long throw again. Yes.
Kinge heads it the wrong way, and then finally it's cleared. 45th minute, getting set for stoppage time here from Subaru Park. A whipped ahead. Again, not much coming from it. Akava nearly getting the opportunity in the box. Akaza went flying. Now Clark. Elney. Korf deflected out of play. Ariel and Korf having quite the battle today. And there is yet another corner as we look at number 7 in that category and a number 2 for stoppage time here in the first half.
Yeah, Sakaya clearly in the tactical water break, Chris, made some changes, and the changes he made was in the mentality of his team. And the mentality means we're playing as high up the pitch as possible. Let's force mistakes. Let's seek that second goal before the half. If not, let's get some set pieces where we are dangerous, which they are, particularly right here. Good runs, 1v1s.
Ball whipped in, headed up. Fala really wide open in the end, but a little bit off balance after the contact with Ofemu.
Yeah, that's great defending, as you said. Ofemu, that's all you have to do. Put a little body on the big man there, Fala, which he is, the 6'3" man, and just unbalance him a little bit, that he can't get anything clean at goal.
Fala really interesting, spent most of his life, not all, in New Jersey. Ramapo College player, along with being from the Cape May area. And then ended up after college with FC Motown in the MPSL, a team that made the Open Cup last year and faced off with the New York Red Bulls U23 squad from USL League 2. He scored a goal in that match despite the loss, and now he finds himself playing for New York Red Bulls 2 this year, and actually used to be a forward transitioning to defensive play. You've seen how much he's been up the field, and now defensively he's had a few stops in this one as he lets this ball go on to Lapsley. Maybe a final few seconds here as we await the whistle. Through ball, Picasso on the run. Into the box, Picasso, and a stop by Lapsley.
Tremendous run by Picasso. Again, that's the only times that the back four has been vulnerable for the Red Bulls.
Kingay strikes it, deflected away by Zayats. And there's our halftime whistle, and perhaps the best chance for Union 2 coming at nearly the break.
Yeah, without a doubt. Union happy to go to half to 1-0, maybe making some adjustments. The Red Bull clearly the aggressor today, scored the early goal, but Philly has been able to keep him off the board at 1-0.
Korf with the lone tally for the Red Bulls, and that's their first goal of 2020. As we begin our halftime report, presented by Doubletree by Hilton Wilmington. Union 2 trying to build off of that first half, maybe find an equalizer in the second half. Of course, we'll have more coverage coming to you from Subaru Park. 1-0 at the break. Red Bulls 2 over Union 2.
"2020 will be unusual and historic. Let us write the story together, enjoying the weather while staying safe. Wear a mask when you're outside. Keep up social distancing as we keep up our spirits. The usual destinations may not be open or may have restrictions. Conditions may change, so check websites as the summer goes on. Let us make history by enjoying the sunshine and together beating COVID-19.
Acme is bringing the fresh every day. Crispy, juicy, delicious. We're cutting fresh, so you don't have to. Slicing fresh in store. Icing, baking, and flower bouquet making. This is how we do fresh. Come and get it. Acme, the official supermarket of the Philadelphia Union.
For everyone who has ever brought home Entenmann's Little Bites muffins, you're probably quite familiar with the Happy Dance. Maybe it's because they're made with real ingredients like blueberries, bananas, strawberries, and no high fructose corn syrup. Or is it because they're always baked moist and delicious? The answer is all of the above. Entenmann's Little Bites muffins, the perfect portion of happiness. And be sure to try new Entenmann's Little Bites soft-baked chocolate chip cookies.
Welcome back here into Subaru Park as we continue halftime, presented by Doubletree by Hilton of Wilmington. 1-0 Red Bulls 2 at the break. And of course, plenty of action back from the stoppage of play throughout the USL Championship, and some great goals that we got to see in our plays of the week from week 4 last week. And Red Bulls 2 fans may want to look away. It's not so much the corner here, Thomas. It's the follow-through. Mandanda with the assist of the goalkeeping variety, and here comes Guzman, the career leader in goals for San Antonio. He scores his first there for Hartford.
With all due respect, that's just a great side volley, goalkeeper, long ball over the top that catches the whole back four, including the goalkeeper. I think it's a brilliant assist.
Mandanda stood on his head for that match. 20 shots Red Bulls 2 put up, and he got the clean sheet out of it. Tampa Bay Rowdies, North Carolina FC. This finishes 2-2 courtesy of this goal as North Carolina making the comeback. Cristo with the header right there, and a clinical finish.
Oh, I've been there, done that. Great combination play that right-hand side, not closed down enough, and then the big man up front goes, boom, thanks for coming. Baker the net, we tied this baby up.
That header, 83rd minute. It would finish 2-2 from there. And stoppage time finishes was a real variety as well. Colorado Springs tying it up at 3 with the defending champions SLC. Another jumble mess in the box and getting the head on it.
We just talked, Chris, in our first half about set pieces. We've seen 2 right now. Anytime good service and a great header of the ball is trouble.
Kyberson, here's a curler for you in stoppage time to force the scoreline to 1-1 and getting a point out of it for RGV.
Oh, that's why we love our inverted wingers, baby. They come inside with their strong foot, and they curl it far post. Thanks for coming. Look at it. Whoop! Drop that shoulder. Look up. Go to spin. Far post. Golazo.
RGV getting 1 point out of that goal right there in a Texas derby against San Antonio FC. And right here, Union 2 looking for an equalizer of their own in the second half as we get set to check on some news from around the USL Championship. 1-0 to the Red Bulls 2 in this halftime, presented by Doubletree by Hilton of Wilmington.
The United Soccer League and its 47th championship in League One clubs stand united in support of diversity, inclusivity, equality, and compassion. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can create change. Together, we are united against racism.
Once a community's long-term player development pathway is established, USL clubs must clearly define their talent identification strategy in collaboration with their youth network. Establishing this strategy provides local clubs and coaches the opportunity to recommend top young prospects towards the USL Academy level and eventually their local USL senior team. As players are identified, the USL Academy League is designed to provide young players the opportunity to transition from youth soccer to playing at the senior level in 3 different ways. Players most ready to make the jump to the USL Championship, League 1 and League 2 can begin their integration into a senior team by taking a part-time senior status, allowing them to train and even play at the senior level while still getting additional training and games within the USL Academy League. Top young players projected to be ready for their first integration into senior team soccer within 1 to 2 years will be encouraged to register as the full-time academy status. Players with a longer-term projection towards the USL senior team will have the flexibility to continue primarily being a part of their youth team through the part-time youth status. This will also encourage further collaboration between the youth network and the USL senior team, as coaches from both levels can work together to determine the right time to move players through that established pathway. For more information, visit usl-academy.com.
Welcome back here into Subaru Park in our halftime presented by Doubletree by Hilton of Wilmington. 1-0 to Red Bulls 2 as we get set to check out news and notes from around the USL. As USL, League One and Championship now underway. League One beginning with the Greenville Triumph taking down Fort Lauderdale CF last weekend. And Indy 11 continues to be one of the hot teams at the top of the power rankings. They took down Pittsburgh here today.
That's a pretty amazing stat. 28 winning streak. That's amazing.
Last loss even on Independence Day in 2018, and Birmingham Legion FC getting the win against Charleston last week, and also Player of the Week honors. Over in the power rankings there, they are Indy 11 near the top. Phoenix Rising for obvious reasons. That offense can't be stopped at times, but Pittsburgh Riverhounds getting the loss tonight, but really impressive 3-1 win to open things up at Louisville and the grand opening of a new stadium as well.
And my old team, the Tampa Bay Rowdies, in third, baby. All right. They've done so much better, Chris, since they fired me. It's unbelievable.
All these teams, of course, in action in the group standings, but here we are, Group F in front of us. 2 of these teams will be advancing, and right now it is a sharp contrast, the top 2 versus the bottom 3, but Union 2, Red Bulls 2, they can make a difference here today.
Absolutely. That's why W is important. And you want to eventually get into the plus as well. -2 and -6 in goal differential. That's not very good. That doesn't take you places.
We'll be back with you in Subaru Park momentarily for highlights and stats. It's a time report presented by DoubleTree by Hilton of Wilmington, 1-0 to the Red Bulls, 2 at this moment.
Acme is bringing the fresh every day. Crispy, juicy, delicious. We're cutting fresh, so you don't have to. Slicing fresh in store. Icing, baking, and flower bouquet making. This is how we do fresh. Come and get it. Acme, the official supermarket of the Philadelphia Union.
The summer of 2020 will be unusual and historic. Let us write the story together, enjoying the weather while staying safe. Wear a mask when you're outside. Keep up social distancing as we keep up our spirits. The usual destinations may not be open or may have restrictions. Conditions may change, so check websites as the summer goes on. Let us make history by enjoying the sunshine and together beating COVID-19.
It starts with Sara Lee Artisano bread. Thick slices that can hold cheese. All the cheese.
Richly flavored brioche that goes with any meat. A little sweet, a little savory, a lot of
Or soft, flour-dusted buns and rolls. Perfect for all my favorite flavors and all my favorite people.
No matter what you layer on, make it with Sara Lee Artisano, the original artisan-style bread, and make the routine remarkable.
Welcome back here into Subaru Park as we finish off our halftime report presented by DoubleTree by Hilton of Wilmington. 1-0 to Red Bulls 2, getting set now. See our first half highlights here from Chester, Pennsylvania. And early on, Red Bulls 2 really taking it to the Union 2 squad, but both sides did see their chances.
Yeah, Chris, early on, actually, it's the Union that starts in the front foot as well as their coach, Cartoon, wanted to. But then things just fell apart a little bit.
Yeah, right here, open opportunity, left side, it's Korf. 1v1, and he'll slot it home with maybe the help of a deflection or two.
Yeah, Jake Lacava finds him in that little seam where Korf likes to go, cuts inside, gets a little deflection, steers the goalkeeper, Butler, the wrong way. 1-0.
His first goal with Red Bulls 2 and the team's first goal of 2020. And this was a theme for really the middle part of that first half. Interceptions in the midfield and Red Bulls 2 getting some shots off of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at the Red Bulls 2 that are really starting to click going forward. Lacava there with that shot, just missed.
Again, another opportunity here. They would pepper all day the 17-year-old Budner in between the pipes. Korf even will get some opportunities late on as well.
Yeah, and Hariel, that right side, done a great job by shot blocking, by forcing Korf in a little bit of a tougher position. But Korf is going, you know what, you allowed me the first time, I go again, baby, just over.
High percentage shots were the issue against Hartford, and so far they do have a goal to show for it. But big savior there, Hariel coming to the rescue.
Yeah, absolutely. Joseph Fala, Roy Boateng, they're so good in the air. And then obviously the great service by your captain is brilliant.
20 shots against Hartford. Red Bull 2 already on track for that. 10 shots in the first half. The problem is the shots on target for either side, just 3 combined.
Yeah, to me it's more the pass completion. 55% pass completion for the Union, almost 70 for the Red Bulls, which means also Union only 90 passes versus 140 for the Red Bulls as well. That shows you a little bit more about these stats right here. In all fairness, the offside stat to me is a little telling. If they hold their runs better, the Union, and it's 3 for them right there, they might be in without offsides. That's something to talk about in the second half. Hold your run, and go. That's what I would say Mr. Sven Gartun, to my team right now. A little bit more patience, play the ball a little bit earlier, and stay on sides.
And we saw what could happen with that. Picasso, right before the break, broke through the lines and even nearly got a penalty.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Lapsy made a great save there late for Picasso, as you said again, breaking those lines with and without the ball, and that's possible.
Now, we heard from Sven Gartun that it would be limited minutes basis for Ray, and indeed he will be coming out at this moment, and it will be one of the younger players of Union 2 getting his debut, Brendan Craig, who will be coming on, part of the 18 here today. Craig, a native out of Wayne, Pennsylvania, spending his time primarily with the U16s and 17s in this past winter season.
Very interesting to see, though, that Isa Ryan, who was more of an attacking player, you know, in his career going up, is now have to play out of a position that he's not really familiar with, that left side in that 4-4 or in that 4-2-2-2 as well. And the inability for both fullbacks to get forward with ease without leaving big holes, that has been a little bit of a problem in terms of, again, the lack of organization in the press for the Union has become a little bit better, but still not where it needs to be. And the Red Bulls, if you go in there right now as the interim coach, Sakaya, as you said again, done a great job. Inspired his team, got stronger after the technical water break. And it's really important for the Union now. Can they turn this momentum into their favor? And I'm talking about pass completion, and good pass completion leads to possession, Chris, normally.
Both sides, round of applause for first responders in the area during this pandemic. As we get set for second half kick, 1-0 to Red Bulls 2, and we're off and running. Second 45 from Subaru Park in Chester, Pennsylvania. Again, I'm Chris Pekovic, alongside me, two-time MLS Coach of the Year, Thomas Rongen. Both sides looking for the first win of 2020, as well as 3 points in Group F, as Red Bulls currently 6 points off the pace, and Union 2, 5 points off the pace. Fala, again with that long throw in we saw him wield in the first half. Shintu against Boateng. Lobs it in there, open opportunity, back of the net! Mischich there with the header, off balance, but gets it in. Union 2, their first goal of 2020.
Yeah, Chef Garten finally got some width of his team out wide. Shintu making a great run there. The German 23-year-old waiting for his counterpart. Mischich to get in a good position. Hold the play, head up, going far post. That's a great connection there, right there. Shintu, Mischich. Golazo, 1-1. You could not have drawn this up any better.
So smooth right out of the break. Mischich, his second goal for Union 2 all time after scoring once last season.
What I liked about Schindler is able to manipulate the ball enough to allow players to get in good positions as well. Freezing that defender initially, waiting for the support, then bending this great ball far post in order to get this game level.
And again, Union 2 on the attack. And Coach Gartung maybe making some adjustments, as well as
throwing the ball real quickly. He wants some aggression in his team going forward.
Keep that energy going as they equalize here right out of the break.
Yeah, team looked flat early on, and the Red Bulls clearly were the aggressor from an emotional and a physical standpoint. Offsides there, a little grab at the same time. And knowing my Scandinavian counterparts well, Sven probably got stuck into the boys a little bit at halftime, because that's part of the learning process too. It was too easy, guys. We weren't emotionally, physically involved. Let's make sure we're harder to play against. Let's do the little things right. And they started well this second half.
Korf flips it on. Cleared by Ofemu. That's exactly what Coach Gartung told us on our call this week, that Really, it was about, in preparation for this match, taking care of the basics and what Union 2 needed to do, and then worrying about breaking up the attacking lines of Red Bulls 2. And coming out of the half, at least, they've looked like a different team compared to the first 30 minutes of this match.
Yeah, if you can move the real estate, so to speak, which means the further you move the real estate, the farther you can play on the half of the opponent, the better off you are, obviously. And that's what Philly did initially. And I think it actually caught New York by surprise. Now New York has to match that intensity and make it a game again, which I'm sure they will.
Back all the way to Budner, again making his first start for Union 2. Craig gets one of his first touches of the match after coming on at the break. Again, a reminder, 5 substitutions per team, but you can only make 3 stoppages in the play. LaCava out wide, Elney there, cuts it back over, Elney! Maybe off the near post, Budner was there as well. And indeed, it was off the post, as it is a goal kick.
Yeah, the ability of the front runners to cut inside, to be able to find a little space and time to get something on goal. This time, the goalkeeper's best friend, the post, doing its job. That's where the Union has to be vulnerable a little bit on the counter when they're in even numbers, Chris. The quick, skillful attackers have created really some problems there.
Butler getting the help of the post back there.
Yep.
As Union 2 right back the other way. Picasso. Mischich, the goal scorer.
Yeah, what a goal it was. Talk about chemistry. It's always nice when you call them 2 number 9s. If you 2 number 9s can connect, which they did on this goal.
Handball there as Korf tried the quick turn on the attack.
And the reason why he's forced in that position is because there's better pressure now on the ball, not allowing an opponent to turn like a Korf. When he can turn and face you, he's a dangerous player. Key now is get hard on him, force him to play negative, we call that, and then the job is done.
McGlynn stuck in traffic, gets it over to Kingay.
Good recovery.
Craig there helping out. Now they'll send it on back to Butler.
And both sides pretty much tell the story. If you look at the goalkeepers over the 3 games they've played now, I think it's 5 different goalkeepers for both teams. And talk about lack of consistency. That's a tough one, Chris. It really is.
Free kick awarded to Red Bulls 2 as they try to get back on top in this match. Clark goes down.
Yeah, Clark has been really good. Secondary assist. He's always involved in midfield. He's a very good 2-way player.
17-year-old out of Minnesota. His first year in the Red Bulls organization. Zayat's now over the ball. Spent 3 years with the Red Bulls U23 squad in USL League 2. Ball sent in, a header, saves the day. Boateng would have been there for a chance.
There's no better way to test the goalkeeper, Chris, with some very good set pieces and corners to put him under some duress.
Clark. Still Clark, whacks it there and fisted over the bar by Butler.
Yeah, very good by Clark, being able to see those openings and coming inside, and the inability for Flores, Picasso, to drop a little bit centrally and help their center backs or their full backs allows these guys to come inside and get shots off right now. See, in between the seams, where's your holding midfielder? Too late, right there. Those are the little areas that Cartoon, I'm sure, talked about. Distances between players.
Wilson and headed down and in! On the one-up! Boateng, the center back, strikes. And Red Bulls 2 right back on top.
Yeah, we showed a highlight, Chris, at halftime of Boateng and Fala both being so dangerous already, not connecting, but forcing saves and a goal line clearance on a set piece. Again, we talked about testing goalkeepers on set pieces. Goalkeeper gets stranded, doesn't know if he should come, yes or no. And then the big man with good service. Anytime you can get a run onto your defender, you're in trouble. Good execution.
24-year-old Ghanaian getting his first tally of 2020. And now once again, Union 2 fighting from behind. Craig with the header. McGlynn losing it. Korf keeps it alive. Zayats. Elney halted in his tracks by Huckabee. Huckabee out of Morgantown, West Virginia. Elney again, stopped once more. Nischich. Ball up ahead. This will stay in play. Shintu trying to work it back in. Lapsley off his line and knocked out for a corner.
Yeah, Shintu did well there by leaving his feet sliding to keep the ball in bounds, getting up and then playing that really early cross in. Great execution right there. Ball is still in bounds. Head is up. Playing that between 6 and 12. Hard for the goalkeeper. Great recovery by Boateng to clear the ball out of danger.
McGlynn standing over this Talent Energy corner kick. Whipped in, headed up and away for now by Boateng. Red Bulls 2 maybe on the break here. 4 running ahead. 2 defenders for now, ball out wide. The strike and through the legs of Butler. It's 3-1 Red Bulls. Edelman strikes for his first as a member of Red Bulls 2.
Clinical in the counter here. This is a great way of winning a ball about 80 yards away from goal and then driving at the back four, finding that overlapping run as well. And then you're going through the 5-hole right there. 2 options, going far post or go to goal. No, Edelman goes, I'm going to goal, baby. 3-1.
Warren Township, New Jersey native on the board with the third for Red Bulls 2. As solid as Union 2 looked out of halftime, Red Bulls responding.
You made a great point, Chris, that the damage in the last game for the Union at halftime was 2-0, and then the floodgates opened up as well. They get back into this game. They show a little bit of life. And then I'm sure if you look at Butler right now, you know, you're looking at not a great night for a guy that wanted to impress, obviously, being let down by his back four a little bit in all fairness, but could have done better on the last 2 occasions.
Foul is called on the collision. Boateng down. And there will be a talking to at the very least.
The Red Bulls did so well, actually collecting the ball right there where the referee is and then going vertical. You look at Philly, they're looking to build horizontally and it becomes very predictable. The Red Bulls, they go for the gusto. Which means if you can play in between through lines, Chris, a forward line, a midfield line, find attackers that float in between those lines that can turn and run at you, which happened. And here's the foul again, the 50-50. That's a tough follow-through from a defender and not much else there on the Union side, in my opinion.
Yellow card issued to Flores. And another yellow card right back the other way as Fola is in the books.
Yeah, Fowler just instrumental on both flanks. He's so flexible. He can play as a right back, a left back. He can slip a little bit into midfield as well. There's the 50-50. Late tackle, correct call, yellow card. Both teams are trying to assert themselves a little bit from a physical standpoint right now.
McGlynn headed away. Boateng was there. Now Picasso. Here's Craig. Kinge gives it off and stopped just in time. 2v2 the other way. Solid through ball. Elney on the run, still Elney, and Elney with the finish. It's 4-1.
Absolutely brilliant execution again. Stayed on side, and on side in this case, Chris was staying on his own half, by the way, and then making that run. Waiting, being patient, and very well. Coming across the body of Huckabee. So Huckabee, either he brings you down and gives you a penalty, or he allows you to go. And then he goes near post. Brilliant execution twice now on the counter.
Sebastian Elney, 4 tallies last year for Red Bulls 2. Adds one here today to start off his 2020 account. Member of the College Cup, winning Terrapins of the University of Maryland recently. And Union 2, out of the break, they score that goal, but then give up 3 quickly. Now just trying to shore things up at this point. Flores.
And their overall approach has been more positive. They've played more on behalf of the opponent, but they've been punished dearly on the counter.
Well, that's the thing, really. They're losing their 1v1 battles when they have, like just now, those 2 strikers versus the 2 center back situation.
Yeah, and a crafty striker can hurt you in so many different ways. Either drive at you, go without the ball. And if you get great passes in midfield, which Red Bulls 2 does, with Edelman, with Clark, you're in business. And Korf gives you a different dimension. Elney gives you another different dimension. So it's like you can't find the right matchup. Let me go with speed. Oh my God, he can dribble. Let me find somebody else. Because that's sometimes too with center back. Sometimes you're more comfortable with a certain player. I like the bigger guy being close to me, banging with me a little bit. I hate the little guys that would drop into midfield third, Chris, and then run at me because I wasn't the fastest. So for these young players, it's all figuring out their own skill set and their strengths and weaknesses. And for coaches to observe where they are in this developmental process without getting your head handed to you in 2 consecutive games, which might happen.
Stolen back, Union 2, maybe something building here. Ball a little long over the top, Boateng's there, keeps it away from Picasso, but it's back to Union 2. Craig lays it off. It's drilled all the way back to Lapsley.
Yeah, that's the difference there. The good pressure by the Red Bulls in midfield forces players to make quick decisions, whereas the other way, there's time and space in midfield for the Red Bulls players to pick out their front runners without any duress. And that's been the difference of the game, the difference in the game.
Fowler tracking all the way back and wins the challenge on the tackle. He's playing still pretty aggressively despite being on a card and wins that battle. Lapsley.
Yeah, Fowler, who, as I said, he can play on both sides.
McGlynn losing it. And now again, Union 2 caught out. Through ball, beautifully weighted, out comes Butler, and he gets there in time.
Yeah, well read by Butler, playing a little bit higher of his line, intercepting the through ball there. And this game has opened up, Chris. It's been fun.
Shintu now. Cutting through traffic, but can't get by the final defender. Picasso can't find McGlynn. The ball finds him. Headed out of play, corner kick to Union 2.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, Boateng, far line particular, you get a big 6'3" guy that can tackle and win a ball clean and start the attack and help you defensively. I mean, these set pieces against have been so well defended because of their great height, athleticism, and aggression towards the ball. Union maybe want to go short maybe at this particular time.
Whip it over the entire box as Shintu can't get there in time. It's a throw in for Red Bulls 2.
Yeah, if you have lack of success, which they do, they have clearly a height advantage, the Red Bulls, which they've shown on a goal and a set piece already. They've been dangerous on several times. That means they're going to be defensively superior as well. Why not go short and draw maybe another player out as well, and then maybe go in there, or find a combination play. Different ways to skin a cat. Red Bulls are saying, bring it on. This is fairly easy for us.
Especially with the counterattack working the way it is.
Yep.
Back the other way. Union 2 in business here in minute 66. And we will have some substitutions and quite a bit here.
Yeah, it's to be expected, Chris. You want to give as many players an opportunity. I mean, this favors the Union 2, the Red Bulls 2, the Galaxy 2, whatever it might be, because they can use 5 players in each and every game, which means more playing time for more players, more playing time for younger players maybe, and more experiences for more players. The 3 subs, the 5 subs all of a sudden opens things up a little bit more, and you can go deeper into your roster and again expose players to experiences like these, playing in big stadiums against a rival.
There goes Elney off.
Good performance by Elney, by the way.
Omar Sow comes on, who actually started against Hartford.
And very similar. Can break you in the dribble, can get behind you with the ball, fearless in the box.
Yaya Toure also coming on for Red Bulls 2. 6 goals for the U18-19 squad this past season. And for Union 2, 3 substitutions. Get to in a moment as this ball is led on. Not enough there to get to Diaz.
Yeah, Lapsy did well there, reading that situation well in the give and go. And that's, I think, the problem too. You look at Lapsy versus Butler. Lapsy's organized his back 4, focal, a little bit more experience. Whereas Butler is really going into this game, please let me keep the 0 in my first game, which is not happening, which doesn't exude confidence, obviously.
Here's Diaz just coming on for Union 2. And they're losing the ball. The 3 substitutes coming on for Union 2 as Diaz, the Panamanian, comes on loan still from Taro FC in Panama. Played 9 matches last season, but did miss most of the season due to injury. Also, Rabadon, the native of Madrid, coming on in the midfield, and also for the first time in 2 years, an Aronson gracing the pitch for Union 2. It was Brendan in 2017 and 2018. Now it's his brother Paxton. So sending that into the stands.
Yeah, I was very fortunate to call the Inter Miami game against Philly actually the other day, and I was very, very impressed with Aronson. Actually, I spoke to Greg Berhalter yesterday, just talking shop, and he was impressed as well. Kid's special. And this is his younger brother, am I correct, Chris?
Yes.
All right.
Brendan Aronson at 19 years old, 3 years older than his brother Paxton, who's in front of us today, 16, also a native of Medford, New Jersey, of course. Spent this past season mostly with the U16-17 squad, 5 goals and 11 starts. He's wearing the number 70 out there. Lacava also joining Elney, leaving the match for Red Bulls 2. As we mentioned, Torre and So taking their place. Falla there on the near side with the throw in here in the 70th. 4-1 Red Bulls. It was 1-0 at the break, Red Bulls. Then the floodgates really opened. Union 2 tying things up out of the halftime period. But then 3 goals consecutively for Red Bulls 2. This offense firing, showing why they were a playoff team last year. They haven't looked like it in their first 2 matches, but surely now this will give them some confidence. And Butler takes it in. Another giveaway at the back for Union 2. It's Paxton Aronson with his first real touch, but then pass from Craig given away. Torre there. So also knocked away by Huckabee. Union just can't get out of their own end right now. Red Bulls trying to capitalize. Now Falla leads it on. Torre, end line, and deflected out by Huckabee. And that'll be yet another corner kick in this match for Red Bulls to make it number 9.
Yeah, great defending there. Coming over, as you said, by Huckabee, late from his left side at center back position to bail out his friend, the other right center back, with a sliding tackle, forcing this one into a corner that favors, again, the Red Bulls because of their tremendous capabilities of serving balls and attacking first balls in the box. Been successful once already.
Zayats brought down by Butler, and luckily for him, he's able to grab back on to the rebound. Trying to spur on the attack quickly, but Red Bulls too quickly getting numbers back. Diaz trying to make a run down the left wing. He'll find the ball on a through ball, met by Boateng. Diaz losing it, but still going after it. And real miscue there for Boateng, giving away a free corner to Union 2.
Yeah, the game has opened up, which normally happens. Not just due to the fact that players are getting tired, but if you insert 6, 7, 8, 9, sometimes 10 new players, it becomes sometimes chaos.
McGlynn puts it in, and Lapsley grabs it with the help of Boateng right in front of him.
Yeah, Lapsley's ability to command his box versus his counterpart, Butler, very stark.
Lapsley leading his college, UC Davis, in wins, save percentage, and clean sheets.
That's not bad.
Now we hit our hydration break in the second half, and Thomas, that means we get to check out these 5 goals in front of us.
Do it.
So far, the Red Bulls putting on a show, and of course, Union 2 goal, not too shabby as well, and a great opportunity. A look here at the first opportunity, and it was Korf in the first half.
Yeah, Lacava find Korf in that beautiful slot where he wants to go. Suck you in, come inside, get a shot off, 1-0, takes a deflection, but we'll take it.
Korf with his first Red Bulls 2 uniform tally. And then it was this beautiful service up for the Union 2 goal.
Yeah, Misic goes far to his counterpart. Selmir, Misic at 1-1. Great header. Good start of the second half. Union back in the game.
And then just like that, clinical finish on the set piece, as it was Boateng tallying one, and this from Edelman.
Yeah, you get Boateng on the header, you get Daniel Edelman on the break, making it 3-1. And then to make things worse, brilliant touch here by Elney. Another better touch for Elney. And an even better finish than Elney, 4-1. And the greatness of this is he's able to keep coming across the defender, forcing him not to bring him down. If he does, it's a red card. Good execution, not great defending, and something, as I said again, that Sven Kartun needs to continue to work on with his team. 10 goals now in 2 games with still 15 or 20 minutes to play.
Flick over the top. Omar Sow is in, cuts it back over. A little bit too heavy of a touch for Korf. Still alive though. Torre now through traffic and right on. An open platter for Sow, and it's 5-1 just like that.
Yeah, the ability again of this pretty incredible front 3 or 4, or even the substitutions that come in to give you different looks. Yaya Toure keeping the ball alive, cutting around people, winning 50-50s, being more committed, quite frankly, because that could have been defended easily. You get one bite of the cherry, you get another bite of the cherry, you get another bite of the cherry. Yeah, that's a bigger goal, and quite frankly, if I was Butler right now, I would not be happy with my back 4, because you're leaving your goalkeeper totally isolated and stranded by himself.
And right off the whistle, back to Red Bulls 2. Has to be cleared. So that will be the first career assist for Torre. As funny as it is, he celebrated like he scored the goal, so knocked it in, but Torre, he made the goal.
He absolutely did. That's always nice when you come in and you're able to contribute. Goalkeeper, your coach gives you instructions, hang out on the right side, help us defend, and if you go forward, show your strength of dribble penetration, which he clearly did. And then so, you got a good nose for the goal. Get me one, baby. That will be a good 45 minutes for you.
Out of play, throwing on the far side. Stays with Red Bulls 2.
And I know we're talking a little bit general now, Chris, but this becomes a little bit of a gut check now for the Union. You've given up 11 goals over, what, 90 plus 75 minutes? You're better in math than I am. I think it's important that you show character. And that's another thing that Jim Curtin's going to look at. Do people's heads drop during this phase? Do they pick it up? Do they become leaders? Do they bail on plays? And we call those, as head coach, the little things. And that becomes then the mentality. How do you deal with losses? Big losses right now.
Trying to change some momentum here is Flores. Boateng clears.
Yeah, the ability to slow things down. Even there, Fala, who's big, is still able to get a little bit goal side, tucks his shirt a little bit, play on. But it gives the back 4 an opportunity to get goal side, to get good numbers, as you can see again. It's always 3 versus 2, 4 versus 3 in favor of the Red Bulls, whereas on the other hand, there's a lot of isolations that Red Bulls have taken advantage of.
Red Bulls getting set to make some substitutions momentarily as they settle in on possession here in minute 78. So on the run, Butler off his line. That clearance not enough though. It's out for Red Bull throw-in. Couple players coming in for Red Bulls 2. Sharifi will be the Jericho, New York native. 67th pick for the Red Bulls in the 2020 Super Draft. Off comes Clark, who did not score here today, but certainly did so much with the ball, opening up his teammates.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. the unsung heroes. You know, every team needs 4 or 5 guys that always register at least a 7, most of the time an 8. So very consistent. That will keep you possession, that will win their little battles, that are good leaders. Just sound pros that every team needs in certain positions on the field, and in particular in the axis, the spine, we call that, where Clark played.
Jay also comes on, the player out of Senegal, 4 years at Louisville for his collegiate play. Comes on for Zayat's, the captain of Red Bulls 2. A strong showing in that regard, as also his side only giving up 1 goal, but also pretty good when you come off the field, 5 goals on the board.
Yeah, without a doubt. And let's be real honest, his set pieces have made the difference. I know only 1 goal was scored, but the ability for them to put this team under duress in 7, 8, 9, 10 different free kick or corner kick situations eventually broke the backbone of the Union.
Lapsley under some pressure, he'll send it off into the night.
Great distribution.
A beautiful touch there to get by Huckabee. Service over, the bicycle kick off the mark. Korf wanted some magic for his second.
That's a team that's up 5-1. Once in a while you can showboat a little bit. If you're down 5-1, you probably don't want to attempt that. Yeah, it's a foul against Fala. Little tuck there.
That's one thing to keep in mind. He is on a yellow card. Despite all the goals we've seen, we did have 2 yellow cards over the span of about 3 minutes in there.
It's a hard-fought, tough match, but fairly clean, Chris. You're right. We haven't seen any cynical tackles. No malicious attempt to hurt. Maybe too clean for the Union, in my opinion. Nastiness is part of personality as well.
McGlynn, 2-man wall in front of him. Goes on a low drive here and maybe going short on that towards Paxton Aronson. But instead into the hands of Lapsley. Femu under pressure, he'll give it off. Korf. Gets it back. Aronson, a toe poke. He'll get back to it, but can't keep his balance. On a platter, the shot and deflected away.
We haven't mentioned Aronson's name a lot, the younger brother, but he attempted one thing there I liked. He left his feet, he wanted to make a statement, he wanted to be a little bit hard right there and said, hey, you know what? We're not happy with 5-1. I know that's the only time he's touched the ball, but I kind of like that actually. And I'm not advocating negative play or hard play, but nice guys finish last.
Well, there's another touch from Aronson, a header up. Now will lead to a goal kick as he sent the corner kick off the mark. Substitution coming in, it will be Cummings, making his pro debut for Red Bulls 2.
Yeah, it's interesting to see too that some of these teams that played in the CONCACAF Club Championship are looking at some younger players there. You just mentioned the Toro FC player, for instance. The Red Bulls played them. So part of playing games, not just winning it, but also finding maybe a raw talent somewhere in Central America or in the Caribbean.
Jay fighting off 3 Union 2 players. And then a 4th he draws the foul from. And Jay asking his teammates for some help, I assume. Torre. Sharifi. Nishic losing it there to the referee. And now Rebels 2 on the attack. Headed through. Butler will come up to it and whack it downfield here in minute 84.
And the ability for the Red Bulls to just continue to bring players on that are powerful, strong, skillful, that have a real great nose for the goal. It's pretty remarkable.
Lapsley off his line for the clearance.
He's dealt with everything within his box, outside of his box very well. Good distributor, commands his 18-yard box, which means his back four is comfortable with somebody behind him like that.
Ariel will get after this one and take it in. You made a good point about a minute ago, Thomas. Really, what we're learning today with this 5-1 scoreline, New York Red Bulls too, they have some depth out there, especially on their attacking line.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I'm sure there's quite a few guys in the bubble right now with that first team that are academy players that potentially, when things come to normal, might be part of this Red Bull 2 team that is impressed on the day, but clearly with different emphasis. Age group, the average age group for the Union is almost 2.5, almost 3 years younger than the Red Bulls. And that's huge during that age group, between 17, 18, 19, and 23, 24. You talked about college players that have graduated versus Aronson at 16 years old. That's huge. You got to be really exceptional to be able to hang in there. And then physicality and mentality play a role.
Quinn Sullivan coming on for the goal scorer, Mischic. Got open for that headed goal. Sullivan, 16 years old, making his second appearance this season.
And you and I might be looking on both sides at a kid that a year from now is just going to break out into MLS. That's the beauty of the reserve teams, of all the MLS teams or reserve teams in general.
The last time Union 2 as Bethlehem Steel made the playoffs back in 2018, and they had quite a bit of stars that we now know of now pretty well. Jack Elliott, Mark McKenzie.
There you go.
Brendan Aronson, of course, among others.
Stars are born right here in front of your eyes with Chris and TR.
Craig sends it in. That's a pretty good ball. May have taken a deflection along the way, and indeed it will be a corner kick in favor of Union 2.
Yeah, good approach. Coming out wide, looking at runners in the box, which still are there because you have some fresh legs again that can bridge that ground. Forcing a free kick, which is, again, stuff you've done on the training ground. They're trying to go short right now, which is smart. That brings out another defender. Might open things some up for the Union.
Brought down and cleared by Kilwine.
Yeah, Kilwine, Fala, Boateng, very sturdy, good defenders.
Sullivan couldn't get it over to Aronson. Rebels 2 back on the attack. This 5-goal output will extinguish that goal differential that was in the negative for sure. Now Diaz trying to get one back for Union 2. He's offsides though. But this really brings up the tough part as a manager. You not only have now a match where you gave up 6 goals, but now 5 goals. You head into training. What's kind of your message and what are you working at?
Yeah, it's tough, Chris. I didn't coach the senior team as the academy director, but I demanded not just for my Toronto FC 2 team to play stylistically and systematically as the first team, but I also expected us to win more games than we lost. And not getting hammered, quite frankly, with 6-0 and 5-1 is. So as a coach, you got to look at yourself right now. Again, Chris, I was fired because I didn't qualify for a World Cup with the under-21s. And I thought my role was developing players. And pretty much Sunil Gulati said, you can also win games. I said, well, I've won a lot more than I lost, but... So it depends on what the club structure is right now. Wins and losses not important. It's all about finding 1 or 2 guys that can help us next year, that will be signed to contracts. Fair enough. If it's a message of we want to win and play well too and develop, then you've got to figure that the first-year coach like Sven Gartoon is under a little bit of pressure, and should be.
Lapsy now gets it back and will send it into the night. Hearing 3 minutes of stoppage time left as Red Bulls 2 eye a victory and a big leap up the standings in Group F. There it is, 3 minutes of stoppage time on the board here at Subaru Park. Aronson sends it in, grabbed out of the air by Lapsley. And the result here will put Red Bulls 2 3 points behind the pace of Hartford and Pittsburgh at 6 points apiece. While Union 2 will be left along with Loudoun at the bottom of the group at 1 point.
And overall, we've seen some quality play. Korf, Boateng, Edelman, Elney, So. Exceptional goals. Flair and triggery, like right there.
Torre loving that right flank and using it to his advantage. Didn't work out that time.
And he's loving life too. I love that. Play with a smile on your face, which is easy when you're up 5-1, by the way.
Union 2 will head on the road for the first time in 2020 on Saturday to face off with a Hartford Athletics squad that has looked good despite not playing a match in March. They have come out of the gates pretty well here. Red Bulls 2 on the other side. A Sunday destination with a Riverhounds squad for Pittsburgh that will certainly be hungry after falling at the death to Indy tonight. That should be a fun one. A Riverhounds squad that certainly has proven that they are a second half team as they come out with Bob Lilly's press. Gilwine. Red Bulls may be in search of a bit more here at Subaru Park. About a minute of stoppage time remaining. Here's Sullivan. Union 2 find one more. Diaz has been very active and strong up top since coming on, but not many options for him to go to with that. Off of Flores out of play. Back out as the Red Bulls await the final whistle. There it is. A 5-goal spot on the scoreboard. And Red Bulls 2 off and running in their third match in Group F as they win 5-1, and the goal scoring and finishing woes apparently have disappeared.
Yeah, they have not. But what a great performance by the Red Bulls, starting with their goalkeeper Lapsy, Boateng, and Kiel Wine, the two center backs, and going forward, Edelman, Clark, Lacava, obviously, Korf with a great goal, Elney. And on the other hand, you know what? Ariel, good game. Picasso can look back at a decent game, but overall, Sven Gartun has to be disappointed again with the performance of his team, losing 5-1.
Red Bulls 2, now 3 points in Group F. When we return, we'll take a look at highlights and stats from tonight's action as Red Bulls 2 takes it 5-1 over their rivals down I-95 in the Union 2.
Acme is bringing the fresh every day. Crispy, juicy, delicious. We're cutting fresh, so you don't have to. Slicing fresh in store. Icing, baking, and flower bouquet making. This is how we do fresh. Come and get it. Acme, the official supermarket of the Philadelphia Union.
The summer of 2020 will be unusual and historic. Let us write the story together, enjoying the weather while staying safe. Wear a mask when you're outside. Keep up social distancing as we keep up our spirits. The usual destinations may not be open or may have restrictions. Conditions may change, so check websites as the summer goes on. Let us make history by enjoying the sunshine and together beating COVID-19.
Welcome back here into Subaru Park. 5-1 the victory for Red Bulls 2 as we get set to take a look at our man of the match. Can only really be one man as Miscic scoring the goal for Union 2 in our man of the match presented by Independence Blue Cross. And here it is with the cross.
Yeah, absolutely great execution on this goal. Heads up, outswinger, met by a great header and an important goal as well.
Rolling right into our highlights from tonight's match, and about 6 goals here to take a look at. And it starts with Korf in the first half.
Yeah, Derry Korf just cutting up people on the inside. Powerful, strong, 1-0 Red Bulls. The little juke, strike, and a goal.
And next would be the Union in action right out of the break with some momentum as they had runners coming out of the midfield.
Yeah. Shinchu goes far post. Miscic goes, thanks for coming. 1-1.
But as soon as the momentum started to move to Union 2, about a handful of minutes later, Boateng finds the back of the net, and then the counterattack really came into form.
Yeah, it certainly did. Daniel Edelman there on the counter. Boateng before, then a powerful header. And all of a sudden, we go from 1-1 to 3-1 for the Red Bulls.
And here's just excellent hold-up play, despite the contact all the way. Elney.
Sebastian Elney, 4-1. Everybody wants to get on the board right now. Everybody was looking through balls. Brilliant execution, great run, good skill set.
But really, the run of the night, I have to say, Yaya Toure off the bench.
Yeah, you're right. Just call me Yaya, baby. And so finishes that one off. But look at this play. Youth being served.
And so with the tap in, and with that, a 5-1 finish in favor of Red Bulls 2, 4 goals in the second half. And for yet another match, 20 spot on the shot count. Shots on target a little low, but they really showed the finesse in the attacking
yeah, you do. You look at if the ultimate stat is shots on target, and then how many you convert, which is, by the way, 5 from the 6, which is a pretty high percentage. Any team will take that in the world. You look at the Union, 8 shots, which is again low, 3 on target, 1 goal, and then the possession kills you as well. And I keep talking to the offsides as well. That's a lack of discipline, in my opinion. 6 offsides should not happen for a team that's well drilled and well schooled, which I know all those academy or 2 teams are in MLS.
Union 2, a disappointing match here in Group F, but Red Bulls 2, they are off and running. 3 points off of 5 goals. I'd like to thank you for tuning in to tonight's action from Subaru Park. 5-1, Red Bulls 2 win it for Thomas Rongen. I'm Chris Markoviak. Thank you for tuning in to this presentation of USL Championship Soccer. We'll see you next time on Saturday, Union 2, Sunday, Red Bulls 2.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.